Welcome back, everyone. Today we are reviewing and highlighting another great book, actually probably the best sales book I've ever read, which is Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. Now, before anything else, I know that Grant Cardone can be a little kooky and that he's a Scientologist, not that any other religion is any more valid, and that he got his ass kicked in that one interview against the wolf. But the point here is that whether you like him or not, that doesn't change the fact that this is one of the absolute best resources that you can have or read or consume when it comes to sales and marketing. So let's go ahead and jump right in to the 6 best ideas from Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. And by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. And as always, the disclaimer when it comes to these book reviews is that there were a million different highlights and ideas that I wanted to go over, but I generally try to filter these down to a relatively low amount of ideas, and I try to skip over similar ideas that I've already covered in similar book reviews and highlights. So anyway, let's jump back in. Now, the first great idea from this book is this: when you forget about them, they are certain to forget about you. Now, this quote or idea is essentially an ode to follow-up, which is the hands down most important factor when it comes to all sales. In other words, even if somebody has cancer and you have the cure for cancer in your hands, usually they will naturally say, I don't know if I believe you, I don't know if I want that, but how much does it cost? In other words, even if somebody needs what you are offering, you will still need to sell or persuade or convince them. So just keep that in mind. Back to the follow-up point here. I've mentioned 100 times before that it is a human instinctive need to hate rejection and to avoid it whenever possible, which leads most people and salespeople, whether that be in sales or dating or whatever, to say, well, I made my offer. If they don't want what I've got, then I don't want them. If they don't want me, then I don't want them. If they don't need me, then I don't need them. I've made my pitch. If they want it, they'll contact me back. No, they won't. You need to follow up, and you should. So anyway, to summarize this point or idea is that even if somebody wants or even needs what you're offering, whether that be a product or service or dating or whatever it might be, is that most people will forget, or they will be too lazy to respond, or something else like that. So in most cases, I would say in every case, it is your job as the salesperson, as the human with agency with desires that wants something, to follow up and to remind them that your offer is available. The next great idea from this book is this: your ability or inability to sell, persuade, negotiate, and convince others will affect every area of your life and will directly determine how well you survive. Your very life and every dream you have ever had depend solely on your ability to sell. Now, yes, I kind of combined 2 or 3 quotes from this book here, but you get the point that your ability or desire to sell, to persuade, to convince is the number 1 factor or skill that you could possibly learn. Now, I know a lot of muggles or normal people say, oh, but I don't like to sell. I don't want to sell. I don't want to bother people. I don't want to bug people. I already asked them something. What if they say no? I've already said a million times before that the real reason why people say these things are because they are terrified of rejection. But the point here is that whether you like it or not, your ability to sell and to persuade is the number 1 factor in the world when it comes down to you getting what you want. You want to get a promotion at work. You want to sell a product. You want your kids to listen to you. You want your wife, husband, or a spouse or significant other to listen to you. Your mother or father-in-law. You want literally anything on earth that you want that involves another person. This involves sales and persuasion, which comes down to pretty much everything in the world that you want, probably. The next great idea from this book is this: you can never take enough action, only too little. Doing too much will never fail you, but doing too little will. White space on the calendar is a disaster. Keep your schedule full, stay busy, and move forward. When you get enough volume going, you don't have to be perfect. Now, of course, I did combine a few similar ideas from this book here, or quotes, but the point is the same, that blank space on your calendar is one of the worst things in the world. And actually, one of my other favorite authors and marketers, Dan Kennedy, tends to say the same thing, which is that if you don't fill your calendar with what you want to do, then somebody else will fill your calendar with what they want you to do. Now, yes, of course, there is definitely value in strategizing and planning and learning and things like that. But in most cases, for most people, taking action is the absolute best thing they can do. So fill your calendar, fill your call calendar, fill your Google calendar, which is actually what I do with whatever it might be. The next great idea from this book is this: customers don't want to have to ask the salesperson for something, they want him to offer it. People will not buy without someone asking them to, and they will never say yes to someone who quits asking. The moment you quit asking, the deal is dead. So this is kind of similar to the first point we mentioned, but the point is this, that even if somebody wants something, even if somebody needs something, literally, they will die without it, they will still want you to sell them on it. They will still want you to persuade them on it. Not only want, they will need you to sell them and persuade them and convince them. Now, is this a human flaw? Maybe. Is this an effect of too much marketing and advertising and TV and internet? Maybe. Who cares? The point is that you need to ask for what you want. Don't give hints. Don't make it obvious. Don't show them what you want them to do. No, no, no. Ask them. And I'm making another video about this soon. That is that you need to make an offer, which means you need to give them the chance to say yes or no. In other words, do you want blah? Would you like blah? Would you like to move forward with blah? I know I've said that already, but you get the point here that you need to give them the chance to say yes or no, which yes means you open yourself to the chance of rejection, but too damn bad. Have you read Sell or Be Sold? Or what do you think of Grant Cardone? Or are there any other sales books I should check out? Definitely let me know in the comments below. The next great idea from this book is this: when a buyer says the price is too high, they are not saying they don't like it or can't do it. Price is not the buyer's biggest concern. It's about having confidence that the product is right. So this is somewhat self-explanatory, but a ton of marketers, entrepreneurs, and salespeople tend to misunderstand it willfully or not. So the point here is that when somebody tells you, I don't know, that sounds kind of expensive. Oh, that's too pricey. That will take too much time. That will take too much money. That costs too much. That will require more resources than I am willing to invest. In this situation, most salespeople will say, oh, well, I guess they're just not the right prospect. Oh, well, I guess this is out of their price range. Oh, well, I guess this is too expensive for them. Wrong. Most of those people are going to end up spending more money on the next person that they buy. So anyway, just keep that in mind, that if somebody says your price is too expensive, they will probably buy something more expensive from the next person. If they say your thing requires too much time, they will probably buy something that requires more time right after that. If they say they won't date you because you're too ugly, surprise, surprise, the person they end up getting with right after you is going to be uglier. So just keep that in mind, that it's not their fault for what they choose. It's your fault for not being persuasive enough. The next great idea from this book is this: if you agree that time is money, then you should inventory and protect your time just like money. Now, if you're like me, then you keep timesheets and Excel sheets and all types of things like that to budget, to worry about what your income is, what your expenses are, and stuff like that. But if you're also like most people, then how you track your money is a million times more specific than how you track your time. But if you're also like most people, then you are not tracking your time pretty much at all. So the short story here is that time is a million times more valuable than money. So if you're tracking your money, oh, this is my income, this is my expenses, this is how much it might be, this is this and that. Okay, that's good, and you should be doing that. But you should also be tracking your time the exact same way, if not more strictly. And the absolute best idea from this book is to hit the like button and subscribe below. If you learned something interesting today, it does help a lot. For more help finding your niche, creating your signature program, and getting clients, then grab my Fill Your Funnel workbook in the links below, or you can find other ways to work with me there as well. Well, that wraps us up for today. Thanks everyone for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one.